Hello everybody. This is Jacob Sapochnick here, and we're doing this quick live because of a new rule that was just announced today by the US government. And essentially what the rule says is that, and we're going to talk about it in this live, the rule says that if international students are attending school that's entirely online, they're not going to be able to proceed as an F1 student for the fall semester, and essentially will result in them needing to leave the country. So what we're going to do is we'll talk about this rule, what it means for international students, and I know a lot of you are already texting and emailing me, so stay tuned and we'll talk about it and what it means for you guys. So welcome those of you that are joining us right now. All right, welcome. First of all, so many people are joining us right now. Welcome Tibas, Nashud, Shabiz, Michael, welcome. Let me know where you're from. Like I said, this is just a quick live. I didn't really plan it, but we're getting a lot of calls right now. In fact, I'm gonna go on the news in about 30 minutes to talk about it on NBC. So let's talk about this rule and what it means. As you know, just by way of introduction, for those of you that are students or no students, during the COVID-19, as of March, April, there's been a lot of leeway given to students. They were able to pursue more classes online. Many schools shifted to online just to make it more safe and possible for students to finish their schooling. And so this announcement today is, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you guys so you can see what it is. So let's kind of talk about it. There are 3 points there. The first point is, it says, number one, non-immigrant students attending schools operating entirely online may not take a full online course load and remain in the US. So essentially, they're going to have to leave the US. There are many schools who moved to full online, and those unfortunately are not going to be able to operate anymore, and their students are going to either have to leave or are not going to be able to get student visas. Second is non-immigrant student visas on F1 attending schools operating under in-person classes are bound by existing regulations, and so they're going to have to either take one class online or 3 credits, 3 hours credits online. That's it. And finally, schools that are hybrid, right? So there are schools that are both online and offline. Those schools, those students may take a little bit more classes online. However, the schools are going to have to certify, which is going to be probably quite complicated, to the SEVP, which is the agency that controls schools under ICE, certificate that students are taking only the minimum that they need online, and the rest is going to be offline. And so this is quite troublesome, because the reason is that, as you know, there's quite a few students that are stuck overseas and are waiting for the embassies to reopen, trying to go back to the US. And essentially, in my mind, what it is, it's like a mini ban on F student visas, because quite a few schools are still unclear as to whether they are going back to normal operations. Many schools also are dependent on students to for fees. Can you imagine what it's going to do for universities that are entirely dependent on students that are coming into the United States? And again, the regulations just came out today, and we're still trying to kind of study it. And we have a lot of schools that we are working with, and we're trying to understand from the schools exactly how this is going to impact what's going to happen probably in the next few, as they're coming and getting ready for fall semester. And then once again, please post your comments right here in the chat, and also at the end of this video, I'll be able to answer more of these questions. Once again, if you're here for the first time, make sure to subscribe to our channel. we release videos every single week, so it's good for you guys to subscribe and also click that like, so we'll be able to share this video with anybody else that may be interested in this. So once again, just to recap, those of you that are joining, there was an announcement today that international students that are attending online universities and universities that shifted to full online curriculum, those students are not going to be able to continue that way in the fall semester. And unfortunately, if they are not able to find a new school or an alternative program, they're going to be forced to leave the United States. They are also saying that students that are going to be taking online courses, they are limited to one course or 3 hours per semester. So again, it's this is just kind of announced right now. What is really worrisome is about the schools that are hybrid, right? The schools, many of you guys are in universities that are both online and offline, and that's going to be more difficult for the schools to try to get that certification that they are attesting that the students are only taking what is necessary for them to be able to go and do online. So let me take a few of your questions here. And we received quite a few comments from people. And again, a lot of our clients who are students are reporting that they were making a lot of accommodations in the spring, right? Remember, May, April, May, we have a lot of accommodations. ICE, gave students the leeway to be able to study online and not go to school. But it seems that, I don't know why it happened today, but I'm looking at some of your comments. Can you imagine the impact of this? If you're a student stuck overseas and the embassy is not going to be convinced that you meet those regulations, you're not going to be able to get a visa. Students that have to leave the US right now. I'm currently talking to at least 5 students that called me in the last hour, and their schools are not qualified under the regulation. They're 100% online. And so you can imagine what it's going to do to students that are going to leave the US and not want to be able to spend their money in universities here. This is, again, for me, it's crazy that they're doing that right now. On one hand, the USCIS is complaining that they have a budget deficit, that not enough people are applying for applications. On the other hand, they're issuing these crazy rules, and specifically on students. Most talented students are, who are going to leave now because they cannot go back to school because of regulations. What do you think? They're going to come back? They're not going to come back. And I'm curious to know how many of you are watching right now are students. And imagine if you have to leave. Harvard, Berkeley, many of these universities have more than just hybrid programs. A lot of them actually went to 80-90% capacity online. Imagine you're a student like that and you have to leave the US because you're not able to continue to fall semester. Are you ever going to come back to the US as a student or an employee? I don't think so. We're going to be losing thousands of students and potential employees for high-tech companies because of these ridiculous regulations. And like I said, I'm quite upset, and I had to go live. Just like I said, the only thing I have is this regulation that is right here. Again, once again, those of you that are joining right now, we have 3 points in this regulation issued by the SEVP, the organization of ICE that controls student visas. Number 1, full-time universities that are only full-time online, full online courses. They're not going to be able to continue to offer full semester courses, and students are going to have to leave the US. They specifically say students are going to have to leave the United States unless they find another school. Students that are going to be doing online classes, they're limited to 1 class or 3 credits. And finally, if you're in a hybrid school, the school will have to get a special certification to say that they're doing the minimum. So once again, this is really upsetting and concerning. If you're a student or you know a student, make sure you share this video, subscribe to our channel, and also we have a Facebook group, and so we're trying to we have a Facebook group where I invite you to join, so you'll be able to get more updates. We're going to share more private discussion in a more safe environment to allow you to discuss and get more information. So let me take a few questions. Question from Pujan. Hey Jake, I'm an F1 visa, but my college is going to happen completely online. I had applied for a change of status and waiting for my interview to schedule. What should I do now? So Pujan, I highly encourage you to reach out to me privately and schedule some sort of a consultation, because this is a very specific question that you have to do. If your school is going to be fully online and it's going to happen in the fall, and you're not going to be able to get your change of status beforehand, you need to discuss this with an attorney, what exactly is going to happen in that meantime. But you definitely need to take action right away. Let me see here. Let me see a question. Thank you guys for the nice comments, and I appreciate all of you, by the way, for always tuning in and jumping in on our lives. We wouldn't be able to do it without you. This is CY, it's really a ban on F1 visas. Absolutely. Like I mentioned before, this is an unofficial ban on student visas, 100%. Because those, I can tell you, I can guarantee that students that are stuck overseas, they're not going to be able to get visas right now, because the embassies are going to be using that as an excuse to exclude them from the US because of this proclamation. Let me see a few of the comments. And also, what is this going to do to universities, colleges, law schools, research universities? They're going to shut down. There's going to be a lot of schools, a lot of departments are going to be shutting down, because many of them are not only funded by foreign students, but they have a lot of foreign students that take place in those, in those departments. So I think in my mind, it's going to collapse. It's going to collapse a lot of universities. A lot of students, foreign students, are paying full tuition. They're subsidizing not only the universities, but also a lot of programs that are related to that. And it's going to be devastating. Let me take a few more questions, and then we'll get off this live. I just want to give you a quick update. I will do another follow-up video once we have more information, but this was important. Is USCIS rescheduling permanent resident interviews for adjustment of status? Yes, those are being rescheduled right now. Let me see if we have more F1 questions here. Let me see here. What is your opinion on extension of EEDs for STEM OPT? Those definitely are necessary. And, I don't know, like I said, we don't know how OPT and STEM is going to be impacted. This is specifically for students that are going to school right now. And again, many of you are just joining right now. Dharma, any idea about one-day CPT providing college? I don't have any information on that, Dharma, but like I said, I'll provide more updates in the next few days about this. And I think there's definitely going to be a lawsuit in this. Here's a perfect question for Atomic. It's going to be blocked in the courts. Most likely there's going to be a lot of litigation on this. And this is crazy. Can you imagine? They are complaining that they have no money, right? USCIS. They're complaining that we have a deficit. Yet they are blocking international students from staying in the US, from coming in here, paying full tuition. This is a ban on student visas, 100%. A backdoor ban on student visas. Mark my words. This is going to be, big controversy. So, once again, guys, thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for watching. If you're here, please subscribe to our channel. Make sure that you click that bell to be notified. I'll do more lives, more updates, and I'm jumping in right now because I'm going to be on the news in about 20 minutes. And after the live stream, please back in, drop your comments. I'll continue to answer those comments even at the end of this live. And once again, thank you so much. And this is Monday. They always put the bad news on Monday, so I'm sorry about that. So once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in our next live, which is going to be probably another this week or whenever the bad news are going to come in. More videos are coming. All right, see you soon. Stay safe, guys.